Good morning. I know we were running a few minutes late, and I sincerely apologize. I do. We got a really interesting show for you today. I got caught up in an article, and I was reading, and I lost track of time. It's going to be really good. Let's dive right into it. Fill your cups. Let's do this. Again, folks, your time is really valuable to me, and I'm mortified that I am late. I do apologize. I really was. I was reading an article about one of the AI programs in which we're going to talk about today, and it was I just looked down and I was like, oh my God, it's 5 minutes after. I haven't even set up. So I scrambled through it. I'm truly sorry. And because I do respect your time, we're going to do the show today. We're going to talk about some fairly complex subjects. But we're going to do it in this format, the Cliffs Notes format. There's no need to get lost in the weeds on some of these subjects. So it's going to be a good, fluid, flowing show. Let's do this. To start with, corporate media's got it wrong yet again. They are trying to push the scary clickbait narrative that, oh my God, Joe Biden needs to be replaced. And we talked about it in the last show. Turned in a horrible debate performance. And we talked about what he needed to do. And as though he watches the show, he absolutely did exactly what he needed to do. This is Joe in Raleigh, North Carolina, just getting it, man. This is exactly what he needed to do right here. Didn't candy coat things, didn't make excuses, everything that we talked about in this show is exactly what Joe does here.
Let me close with this. I know I'm not a young man. State the obvious. Well, I know. Well.
Joe.
Folks, I don't walk as easy as I used to. I don't speak as smoothly as I used to. I don't debate as well as I used to. But I know what I do know. I know how to tell the truth. I know right from wrong. And I know how to do this job. I know how to get things done. And I know, like millions of Americans know, when you get knocked down, you get back up.
Amen, brother. Joe's a fighter. I told you exactly what he needed to do. Exactly. Joe. And folks, it worked. I mean, he didn't make any excuses. He didn't, oh, I had a cold. He didn't blame CNN. He didn't anything. He owned it and went on, and he has had fantastic rallies following the debate. And this is the result, folks. This is the result. Everybody took a look at that debate and the two candidates, and it is exactly what I told you. Joe Biden's picked up 3 points so far. That will continue to grow. I suspect he will pick up 5 to 6 points off of that debate. And I have to eat something. You know, when I say something that I think is going to happen and it turns out it's not going to happen, you know, I own it. I don't pretend like, you know, I just own it. I said, I don't believe the Trump campaign is going to want another debate. I take that back. I did not expect the post-debate polling to be as good as it's been, but what I said happened is exactly what has happened and continued on over the next couple days. Everybody took a look at Donald Trump, and he re-cemented for the country that he absolutely is unacceptable. That everyone saw that he did nothing but stand there and lie. They saw his personality. They saw the vindictiveness. They saw just the fact that he is just a lousy human being. That got cemented into place. Joe has come out and absolutely killed it since. He's had great appearances. He has said all the right things, done all the right things. Didn't candy coat anything, didn't try to BS anybody, just did exactly what he needed to do. And kudos to his team. Kudos to his team. They screwed up. They took it on the chin. And they did exactly what I was talking about. Just let Joe be Joe. Thumbs up. Way to go, guys. Great job. Great job. Silverthorne Goodtree says, why are the news outlets not talking about Trump meeting with the Russian diplomats the other day? Their planes were parked next to you. Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. 100%. If you don't know, folks, when Trump's plane was at Dulles, there's no such thing as coincidences. The Russian diplomatic plane was literally parked next to it. That wasn't an accident. They can park these. There's tons of parking for these planes. That was parked exactly right next to it. And then about an hour later, the UAE diplomatic plane got parked right next to it. So yeah. Thanks for the support. Randy, we're going to talk about that in the next show, bud. The scrapper from Scranton. Amen. Amen. But yeah, I am so absolutely pumped. And then you've got Trump and his performances since the debate. He's a moron. He really is a moron. This is Trump.
These guys, you'll never get them done. You'll never get them done. They don't have any clue. All they know is electric. They want electric army tanks. They want electric planes. What happens if the sun isn't shining while you're up in the air? Well, sir, I told you there'd be problems, sir. No, they want electric everything. They want electric boats. The problem, the boats, they don't float because the battery is so heavy, it sinks the boat. They say, we don't care. We want them anyway. These guys, you'll never get them done. You'll never get them done.
Yeah, that's why there's no such thing as electric planes, because the batteries are so heavy. Weight is an issue with planes. Newest Bill, thank you for the support, man. I really do appreciate you. Yes, we will survive this. We will win. We are absolutely coming out of this 100%. But yeah, that moron's talking about electric planes like they're solar and what happens when the sun goes down. I guess the planes fall out of the sky. And he's an idiot. There are not electric planes out there. There just aren't. The batteries weigh a ton. Every electric vehicle out there weighs a ton. It just does. They're just super heavy because the batteries are heavy. That's why you don't have electric airliners. ET says 6 billion election advertisement dollar reasons is why the corporate media is why they have heavily handicapped all this. Absolutely. Right on the money. Right on the money. No, that's stupid. And I'll address that right now. Camus, I appreciate the comment, but that's stupid. The only time in history that somebody's done it, by election law, if somebody, let's say they did that, said, okay, they pull a Lyndon B. Johnson and Biden says, you know what, I've decided I'm not going to run right now today. There is no Kamala Harris campaign. There's no fundraising. There's no ground game. There's nothing. And by federal election laws, she has to start from scratch. Yeah, that's what got us Nixon, folks. Nixon was not a powerhouse when he got elected. His opponent, LBJ, dumped around this time a campaign in his lap, and he had to build from scratch. If he'd had another 2 months, we'd have never had Nixon. No, we're not replacing. The Democratic Party is not thinking about replacing Joe Biden. Nobody is replacing Joe Biden. He is absolutely killing it, doing exactly what he needs to do. Thank you for the comment. I really appreciate the comment and bringing up the conversation. But no, nobody is replacing Joe Biden. Nobody. And no, she cannot legally just take over the Joe Biden campaign. It does not work that way. It doesn't work that way. It's not going to happen. There's no need to replace Joe Biden. He's doing a fantastic job out there. He really is. And this discussion right here is really we talk about filling the space. We do. We've talked about that many times. It is a strategy that puts something out there that is clickbait, but it also serves to kill other conversations because people only have so much time to talk about this. They only have so much bandwidth. This is one that has just flown under the radar that is driving me nuts. And I'll explain why after we watch a couple of videos here. Donald Trump is now using the word Palestinian as a slur. He did it in the debate the other day. He's been doing it in his rallies since. But yeah, listen to what he says here.
Israel and Hamas. Israel's the one that wants to go. He said the only one who wants to keep going is Hamas. Actually, Israel is the one, and you should let him go and let him finish the job. He doesn't want to do it. He's become like a Palestinian, but they don't like him because he's a very bad Palestinian. He's a weak one. Israel and
yeah, he's a Palestinian. Like that's a bad thing. I mean, he's using it as a slur, and he's been doing. Yeah, Michael Thomas, I hear you. I want him to have an electric seat too. Wink, wink. But this is him on the campaign at one of his idiotic rallies talking about Chuck Schumer. And again, using Palestinian as a slur.
take a look at that. Look at a guy like Senator Schumer. I've always known him. I've known him a long time. I come from New York. I knew Schumer. He's become a Palestinian. He's a Palestinian now. Congratulations. He was very loyal to.
Yeah. He's become a Palestinian. He's a Palestinian now. He goes on to say he used to be very loyal to Israel, but now he's a Palestinian. They're using that as a slur. And you heard him say in the debate the other night, let Israel finish the job. That was on the tail of a comment that President Biden made, where he talked about they held up the 2,000-pound bombs that we normally provide to Israel. And President Biden quite eloquently said, those weapons don't work well around civilian populations. So we didn't send those because they are working day and night to try to stop mass bombings, to try to bring under control Israel's offensive in Gaza. And what does Trump say? Let him finish the job. Just let him do it. Just let him finish the job. Folks, finish the job is wipe out the Palestinian people. Trump is saying it. So I want to address something. I want to. This is going to segue into the next subject we're going to talk about. Yeah, I hear you, Jeanette Dahl. Biden seemed in disbelief at all Trump's lies. That was a terrible debate strategy. It really was a terrible debate strategy. Alexander Dolfors, hello from Columbus, Ohio. Good to see Ohio in the house, man. That is going to be a seriously, strongly contested state. I appreciate the support, my guy. I really do. I want you to understand that this woman right here, this thing right here, and don't wrap my knuckles for calling it a thing. This thing right here is one of the most dangerous things facing Joe Biden and the Democrats coming up in the next election. Right there. Right there. And before you wrap my knuckles for calling that a thing, that is a thing. That is not a human being. That is an AI generated image. And you can get all kinds of them. I mean, you really can. That is an AI generated image. Where I'm going with this is right after October 7th. The reason I caught so much hell, and there's so many people out there saying, you don't support the Palestinians. People, I've been supporting the Palestinians for 40 freaking years. There was an AI bot push after October 7th to spread misinformation that continued on. And what they did was they went, thank you for the support. I really appreciate it. They went and they found real people, human beings, not AI bots. And they took their messages, they were repeating the troll message, and they went to their TikTok account, for example, just as an example. And this person, you know, I have 150, maybe 200,000 followers on TikTok now. They would go to somebody that has 2,000 followers, 500 followers. And then all of a sudden, that person would start getting tons of likes, just tons of likes for repeating that message. And it would amplify that message. This person that did not have the kind of reach that I took years to build, overnight had reach. And I'm going to explain to you how that works. This is what's called a click farm. This is what's called a click farm, folks. I want you to see this with your own eyes. This is what's called a click farm. And what they do one more time, I want you to see that. Just take a good look at what you're looking at. I want you to soak it in. That's one. Just one. They are all over the place. They are a service that is sold. And it's not just misinformation on Twitter. It's not just misinformation to support anybody's cause. They go to the highest bidder. Here's another click farm. Here's another click farm. They are all over the world. They are all over the world. And what they do is they'll use something like ChatGPT to pump misinformation out, or they will go to Amazon. If you have a product that you want people to buy, they will go to Amazon, then they will create fake humans, things, and they will post reviews, AI generated reviews on your product. Or if you've got a competitor that you want to attack. That's why they're in all these countries that are difficult to get to. You know, I've explained to people over and over and over again, this is why at about 8 o'clock Central Time, X turns into an utter hellhole, just a complete hellhole, because you have these ChatGPT bots. And I want to give you an idea what that looks like, okay? This is what happened. It was humiliating for Russian intelligence. They forgot to pay their ChatGPT bill. And when they didn't pay their bill, all of their bots quit working on X. And whenever they would give it a command to post something, they got this error message. Error, ChatGPT 4.0 credits expired. They didn't put money in their account. So this account, which is not a real account, did not produce the message that they ordered it to. And you see the instructions over here in Russian. All of these accounts, all of a sudden, started spewing the ChatGPT error code. Folks, this is why I don't sweat it. You know, you get these accounts that come in and they say belligerent things that don't. This one was supposed to talk about, was supposed to infiltrate a food blog and spread misinformation. Just look at these account after account after account. These are things. This one right here supposed to be pro-Ukrainian liberal that spreads misinformation for the Russians. All of these accounts got the same error code. Thousands of them, just because they forgot to pay their ChatGPT bill. Are you getting the idea, folks? These are not real people. It's just a couple people sitting at a terminal buying your old phones that you trade in because that's all they need to establish an account. They set up thousands, tens of thousands of accounts, and they will say the most horrific, abusive things. Just give me an idea how many there are. I mean, look at this, just on and 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 on. And it'll keep going and keep going and keep. Tens of thousands of these accounts collapsed because they didn't pay their ChatGPT bill. This is what ChatGPT is for folks that don't know. There's a company called OpenAI. You can do a search for it called OpenAI. It's a company, and they have a program that will generate chat. It'll generate comments. It'll generate whatever you want it to do. You can apply it to whatever platform you want to, and they've trained it. You give it a specific set of commands. They've trained it to utilize AI to pretend to be a person, basically. And it'll do whatever you want it to do on any platform. And your social media is just flooded with this. The Russians are on this. The Republicans are on this. We Democrats, again, as usual, are behind the ball. We are not. We are not in it. And this is the article I was reading that was just, it's so fantastic. Wired has been doing an amazing job. And I do apologize again for being late. This is the article I was reading. They have trained these AI programs on how to be good at being deceptive, about lying about what they are, pretending. And here you see experts warn against the consequences of blurred reality. This is a fact, folks. This is happening right now. This is happening post-debate. You can go to my social media and you'll see them there. You'll see they're just designed to be belligerent. They're there to wear you down. That's one of there are many avenues of attack that they take. One of the avenues is just to tell people, just to insult them, to just give you a negative experience for being online. Everything I post, there will be bots that appear. You fat bastard, you commie, you homo, you pedophile. I mean, it's just to create the most negative environment to try to discourage me from participating, because they did just the opposite after October 7th. They went and they found a bunch of people that don't normally get that effort. And it feels good, folks. It really does. I cannot tell you how good it feels when you first start doing this and you realize there are other people out there that think like you think. There are other people out there that are enjoying what you are saying. It's a hell of a drug, man. It really is. And they went to people that I saw account after account after account of people that had 100 followers or 500 followers. And they were dominating TikTok, just dominating it for days and days and days. And then the attacks that came were also, it was quite obvious that they were bots. This didn't help. You know, I've been supporting the Palestinian people for 40 years. Taking the most radical messaging and amplifying that does not help your cause. And that's why I wouldn't do it. And I got so much hate from people that just jumped on that bandwagon because they're like, you hate the Palestinians. No, I don't. No, I don't. I'm the person that calls out the Israeli hard right. I'm the person that talks about things as they really are. And that is the problem. That is the problem. And I want to draw your attention to one more thing. It's really fascinating. It is really fascinating. Long time ago in college, there used to be this sickening argument that the racists would make about racial purity and interracial relationships. If you're as old as I am, you remember the hate that would come out. And there were studies that they did. And the studies ended up with this woman, this thing. What they did was they took people as part of the study, and they took people photos with complexions from just ashen black, as dark as dark gets. Just ashen gray black, all the way to clear Caucasian, that see-through Caucasian, the whitest of the white. And they took every complexion in between, and they had people rate them for attractiveness. It fell right in the middle. The most attractive was the one right in the middle. They did the same thing with cheekbones. They did the same thing with jawline. They did the same thing with hair length. They did the same thing with all of the features. And it always boiled down to that, if we just interbreed, we are beautiful. It's the extremes that nobody likes. And they didn't make the study, to their credit, it was a great study. You can actually Google it, go back and look at it. They didn't make it about race at all. They just made it about what is physically attractive. We are looking for what's attractive in the cosmetics industry. We're looking for and they framed it all that way. But the bottom line came out to, and this goes down to my religious beliefs, that I don't believe that we got this is just me again. I don't believe we've got a relationship with some deity out there. I believe we're listening and say, wow, Mark, that is huge, man. Thank you. Thank you for the support. I really appreciate that, my friend. You are funding a show there, my friend. It came down to this. The most beautiful thing that you'll ever see is what happens when we all just get along, just marry each other, just, you know what I mean? And that's why I say that's part of my religious belief. Is I look at things as science. I say, we are divided out in the beginning into tribes, and we're hardwired to look at what looks similar to us as safe, and what doesn't look similar to us is not safe. We're hardwired for that, for a survival reason. But evolution, we figure out that if we just get along, man, and just love each other, the most beautiful thing happened. And man, they know. AI knows, man. They do. They have programmed it well. They have programmed it well. Jin Chong, thank you. You've been supported many times. Psychological warfare. Human language harbors a mechanical aberration, leaving human communication vulnerable to manipulation and mass deception. Well said, sir. Well said. That was perfect. I love you people. I really do. And while we're on the subject, I just want to take a second. I apologize. Call it a commercial. R.W. Hemker, Edward Metz, folks, I Some people have told me they don't want to be called out. They just want to support the show. But I want to tell you, LG made a hell of a donation. I mean, a huge donation on PayPal. He paid for an entire show by himself. So, folks, and LG, I realize you're an artist. I've seen what you do. If you would like me to play, I mean, for that kind of support, my friend, I would be more than happy to give you a free commercial. Well, it wouldn't be free. You supported the show, but you know what I'm saying. Anybody that, I mean, folks, I'm telling you, there are some people that have really been huge patrons of the show, and thank you. I just want to say thank you. And if you don't mind me mentioning you, by all means, let me know, because there are some people that have been patrons of the show that are just private people. They don't want to be called out. That's why I said, I see you, LG. I see you. Matthew Preble says, neighbor said, you can never get rid of racism. My reply, not in your world, maybe. ET says, how do we determine what is real these days? I'm going there. Thank you for getting me back on track, ET. Thank you, my man. Thank you. I appreciate you. One more time. I want you to look at this one more time and talk about it as we go through. I know I've played it, but now that we've talked about the AI, you can see these are old phones that they bought cheap as trade-ins. You see they're all hardwired into a controller PC. That controller PC tells these phones on these different accounts what messages they want to pump out. And again, it can be, they don't care. It's just a service. This guy sitting there doesn't give a crap. This is his service that he provides. It's dishonest. It's fake reviews. It's why you can't trust reviews online anymore. The critical reviews also, they will attack other people's products. There are companies out there, unscrupulous companies out there, that are attacking new products that come out. You'll see them. You can learn to recognize these if you're paying attention, but it's just on different platforms. So please, pretty please, online, no. These right-wingers that just seem to be so many of them, there aren't. There just aren't. We are a better people than what you get the feeling from these online platforms. We are a better people than that. The lousiest of it really is a bunch of bots. They're there to lower the discourse. They're there to make it not fun. They're there to make it, just gross, to discourage you. Learn to filter it out. If it doesn't seem like something that if it's shocking and it doesn't seem to be something that, a person would say, it's probably not a person saying it. It's probably not a person saying it. But we've got some other news, and again, I just wanted you to understand. Biden is rocking it. Yes, we've got to do something about this, and what I'm going to leave you with on that is I am on a mission. I want to make it a felony to present a digital creation, a thing, as a human being. Anytime someone does that, there is no good reason to do that. Newest bill, wonder what happened to the claims of the drug-addicted Biden bots to Nova. Yeah, exactly. That went away quick, didn't it? Oh, jacked up Joe, that went away real quick, didn't it? I want to make it a felony. If someone presents an AI-generated image as a human being, I want that to be a felony. If someone takes, we've talked about it before, people on all the different social media platforms will take my image and pretend to be me, I want that to be a felony. And the reason I want it to be a felony is a lot of these most of these operations, I'm telling you, the reason it's 8 o'clock at night when this stuff, Central Time, when this stuff goes south, exactly. That is another reason, Colleen, Sarah, thank you. That is another reason. If they can make you not believe anything, they've also won. They've also won. They've neutralized you. But the reason that this, like X, Twitter, gets so horrible at 8 o'clock at night is that's bankers' hours in Indonesia. And Jakarta is a huge hub for these click farms. They're Muslim, so the ones out of the Middle East utilize them. They do. They utilize the hell out of the click farms in Jakarta. Iran, the Palestinian Authority, Hamas, they utilize the shit out of the click farms in Indonesia because they are also Muslim. And they feel, I guess, that there's more of a trust there. So 8 o'clock at night, man, X turns to hell because that is 8, 9 o'clock in the morning. That's bankers' hours for these people. And right now, they're not running 24-hour operations. It's still a new burgeoning industry, so they don't have the manpower. That will change, folks. That will change. They will go to 24-hour operations. It won't be an hour later, here comes St. Petersburg, Russia online, and then you get another dose of awful. It will be 24 hours a day as they get more and more employees and more infrastructure. We need to get ahead of it. Make it a felony. Make it a felony. If we overreact, we can pare it back later, but make it a felony, because if we make it a felony, then you can have criminal sanctions against these people. And they can't travel. They can't bank. They can't. You undercut this in this everything negative about this industry. Anyways, that's what I'm pushing for. That, Brian Peach, I appreciate you, man. Joe is the man you want in November and 4 years after that. Unfortunately, no more 4 years after that because, that's going to be the term limits. AI, not person, is opening into corporations, aren't people. Yeah. Amen. I appreciate all the support, folks. You've been supporting the show a ton today. I'm very grateful. But look, we've got something else coming up. I just wanted to be clear on that one. And we're going to run a little long today. I'm sorry. Stick with me. There's some good things we're going to talk about. Designed to make a person doubt their beliefs. Exactly, Colin. I am going to, from now on, refer to James Comer as Commie Comer. Commie Comer. You remember the story we did on the show where James Comer was helping he was, as the ag commissioner in Kentucky, was helping one of his donors buy weed. He was importing drugs, man. He was importing drugs. Dope from China. Yeah, no shit, really. There was a company that was wanting to get into the hemp craze, the hemp sheets and hemp rope and all the hemp products, hemp paper. It was huge there for a while. And it is a good thing, folks. I am very pro hemp. But they imported a bunch of seeds from China from a cheap company. And it turned out they weren't just, they were straight up dope, man. It was straight up dope. So that was a scandal in and of itself. Well, sometimes you get something that grows out of these, and it's why journalism is so important, folks. It is why it is so important. When they did the open records searches on this subject, Daily Beast was a huge driver of this. Thanks. You people pay for those subscriptions. Wired, Daily Beast, Washington Post. You people are funding those subscriptions. I can't afford to have dozens of subscriptions to read and read and read and read and read. You folks are paying for that, and I'm very grateful. Thank you. Turns out old Commie Comer had a bunch of fake emails that he was using on his actual government email server. One of them was his 7-year-old. It was in his 7-year-old son's name. Yeah. And they were talking to China a lot. A lot. He didn't want people to know. At least create the character in the Sims. Custom content is optional. Yeah, no kidding, right? First Amendment protects expression, but not fraud. The felony can't be blanket. Yeah, exactly. You can say anything you want, but you can't just invent a fraudulent way to say it. Vidra Knights' click farms are there just to make the extreme minority opinion look like it. Exactly. Like it's mainstream. Exactly. They want you to think there's a lot of them there. They want them to think there's a lot of them there. There aren't. Because there are no left-wing click farms. There are no bot farms pushing for us. It's just us. ET says they don't want you to vote. That's true. They want to discourage you. They don't want you to post online. They want to discourage you. It is less than 19 weeks until the general election. Make sure your voter registration, your deadlines. ET, you send this message every time, and God bless you. I love you for it, my man. Check your voter registrations. Make sure. Don't wait till the last minute. ET, God bless you, my friend. I truly appreciate that. Every show, man, you just keep telling them, thank you. Don't wait till the last minute, because that's one of the things Republicans are going to do. They're going to try to cheat. They're going to try to kick people off the voting rolls. They're going to try to keep you from voting. It is. Uncle Russ. Yeah, absolutely. Bots do not contribute to worthy YouTube channels. We do. Yeah, exactly. And they don't vote. And they don't contribute anything worth a damn. Think about it. That's why I say let's make it a felony. What good are they doing? There's nothing good that they're doing at all. Nothing. Appreciate the support, Mr. Jelani. But yeah, we've got Commie Comer. Turns out when they did, I love this, did the FOIA requests, they got back a bunch of these bogus email accounts. Turns out, Comer loves China, man. And what is he doing? He's sitting there accusing Joe Biden of somehow being a criminal. That is what they're doing right now today with his committee, because he is accusing Joe Biden with no evidence of creating. And it was really weird because it's like, do you have evidence of this? Well, no, but we know he's doing it, creating bogus accounts to do business on, and we need all of his records. They want his servers. They want to do the whole email lady thing again. They do. They want to do the whole email lady thing again that they tried to do with Hillary Clinton, and Hillary Clinton would not let them. They want every bit of Joe Biden's communications that ever existed from every email account so that they can comb through it and try to find something unflattering. So he's made this allegation that was a really weird, specific allegation that Joe Biden has fake email accounts that he's using to conduct nefarious business. And everybody was like, okay, what's the proof of that? Well, we don't have any because they haven't let us look at it. Well, that's a weird accusation to make without any evidence or anything like that. Why are you making it? Because that's what he did. That's exactly what James Comer did. He created a bunch of fake email accounts and nobody could track his conversations with China. It's always, every accusation is always a confession with these people. Always. Linda Blanton. Also, if you don't work, think about working the election. Amen. Volunteer. In Texas, dim side never has enough people. We don't. We never have enough people to knock on doors. We never have enough people to postcard or to make phone calls. Yeah. Get out there, man. Volunteer for these campaigns and give early. Don't give at the last minute. Give early, because that is when the money makes the most difference. That's when it builds momentum. If you're going to donate Donate early. We cannot allow Trump back in the White House. Thank you for what you do, man. Thank you for what you do. You people make this happen. I can run my mouth all day long and talk to the wind, and it would be meaningless without you people. You people are making it happen. All right, folks, we got something else that's huge, the Chevron decision. This was the first shot of Project 2025. We have told you what they were planning to do with Project 2025. They intend to gut the federal government. And this was the first shot. Chevron stems out of back in 1984. There was a legal case. The EPA made a rule, and an environmental group, the Natural Resource Defense Council, filed a lawsuit. And they said the EPA you can't make this decision. This is wrong. You can't do this. This environmental group sued Chevron and the EPA. What had happened is the EPA said to Chevron, you don't have to get a permit for each and every little thing you do. If you're doing maintenance or you're replacing a defective part or something like that, you don't have to get a permit. Well, the environmental groups were like, well, that's not what the law says. You can't do that. You have to get a permit for each and every little thing you do. And the EPA under Reagan, 1984, said, no, don't. They don't. We're the EPA. We know science. They don't have to do that. If something does not change, and this was part of the argument, it was an important part of the argument. If something does not change, the net pollution that anything, it didn't just have to be Chevron and their refineries, but anything. If what they do as far as maintenance and repairs does not change the net result of the amount of pollution they put out, no, they don't have to get a permit. And this is the important part, the EPA has the right to do this and make this decision. Each one of those decisions cannot be litigated. You cannot clog the courts with litigation over each little thing that every oil company or in this case, what has brought this to a head are a bunch of fishermen. Why this changed and why it's a bad thing. The Chevron decision you're hearing talking about right now is the first shot of Project 2025. They gutted that decision, absolutely gutted it. And what's so ironic about it, and again, we're going to Cliff's Notes this, don't lawyers, stop freaking sending me email telling me I'm not a lawyer. Everybody knows I'm not a lawyer. Shut the hell up. This is the EPA, the head of the EPA, that made that call, that during the Reagan administration, that ended up giving us the Chevron, it's called Chevron deference. And it's a good thing. It allows different departments to regulate without having specific legislation on every single issue. It is a good thing. It allows the executive branch to govern. This is Ann Gorsuch. His mother. That's right. Neil Gorsuch's mother was the head of the EPA when Chevron was put into place, and her son just tore it to shreds. Tell me that's not irony. Tell me that's not irony. All right. Why is this important? And what does this do? And why am I saying this is really the first shot of Project 2025? And somebody just made a great comment to know Roe is not the first shot of Project 2025. If you're saying that, you don't know what Project 2025 really is, and you need to go read it before they sanitize it. Project 2025 is geared specifically at gutting the government's ability to operate. That's the end game. Each department. Roe doesn't do that. Roe doesn't attack the EPA. Roe doesn't, attack the Food and Drug Administration. Roe doesn't, you know what I'm saying? This Chevron does. The Chevron decision does. See, folks, right now, Congress writes a law. It tells the executive branch, do this, govern this, make this happen. Make sure that mines don't pollute. They cannot and do not, and I want to stress, cannot write legislation that deals with every single issue that comes up in that objective. It are the individual departments that make those decisions. And the court case that caused this to be overturned, to give you an example of how this works, it was commercial fishermen. They were ignoring regulation. They would get out to sea where nobody could see them and do whatever the hell they wanted to do. So regulators told them, you will have a neutral observer that will be on your boat at your expense to make sure you're following regulations because you're ignoring regulations. This decision says, well, you can't do that because Congress didn't give you statutory authority to force these people to pay for an observer. You can't do that. Folks, I want you to think about that. Just every way we regulate every industry for the last 40 years has involved scientists and science and regulators making decisions like this. And the court embarrassingly said, oh no, these organizations that are filled with scientists that do this for a living can't make decisions based on this. We in the court are the only people that know enough about any of this to make the decisions. So if there's a gray area, we have to decide. And then in that opinion, Neil Gorsuch confused pollution with laughing gas. Yeah, he didn't even get the chemical name correct. It's just embarrassing. Thanks for the support, Cecile. This is huge, folks. This guts the government's ability. There will be a flood of lawsuits. In the opinion that was issued, John Roberts said, well, we don't intend this ruling to interfere with anything that Chevron deference was used in prior decisions, so this won't make a decision in your case. Good luck with that. Every decision that's been made, this is what I say, I was trying to Cliff Notes it, and here you are just filling everything in. I love you people so much. So damn and well informed. God, I love you people. I really do, man. I freaking love you people. But yeah, every decision, every industry from food, again, just a couple of years ago, they were trying to force through that meat packing into the meat packing industry could take in diseased chickens with pustules, weeping pustules, cut the bird in half, throw away the part with the pustules, and still process the other half of the chicken. And they were told, no, you can't do that. You'll contaminate the workplace. You can't do that. Well, guess what's back up on the board now? Guess what's back up on the board? Folks, it's everything. This is gutting the government's ability to govern. And it is saying that it has to go through judges. And folks, this is the problem. This guy. This is Matthew Kaczmarek. He's a judge in North Texas in Amarillo. He's a district judge. He's the judge that and he's a radical. He's a freak. He is a religious nutter. I mean, he is so far out of the mainstream with all of his religious nutballish. He's in my opinion, he's insane. And he is a judge, and they judge shop for him in every frickin' case. They do it every time. They end up going through Amarillo in the Fifth Circuit. Why? Because the appeals is also in Texas and Louisiana and that district, which is frickin' disgustingly conservative and just as nutty. And now Chevron says they have the last word, and the EPA or the FDA or any other organization, Border Patrol, nobody has the legal right to question them. Literally destroyed their appeals. But hey, your emails, right? And that was important. And Joe's old, right? This is why I founded the Ride or Die Democrats. This is why I do what I do. There will be 2 judges replaced, minimum of 2 judges replaced in the next administration. It must be a Democrat. I would also like to see them expand the court. What is there, like 13 circuits? There should be 1 justice for each one. That's the way it's always been done before. Why we're not doing it now, I don't know. These people are insane. They're insane. And they're taking bribes. They just made bribery legal in a Supreme Court decision. They did. Look it up. It's not hyperbole. They made homelessness illegal. But bribes are legal. And they just gutted the federal government's ability to regulate. But our emails, right? I mean, we didn't need another Clinton in the White House. Joe's old. I don't give a damn. I will say this again. I will crawl across Hep C blood-soaked glass to vote Democrat in the next election. Up and down the ballot. Because of this. Let me tell you what's on the next ballot. They will make abortion murder. The actual act of health care. They will make it murder. They will imprison women for just trying to save their own reproductive systems and their own lives. They're willing right now to openly lie. I mean, you saw Trump do it in the debate. Oh, they're setting the baby aside after it's born and deciding whether or not to kill it. That's a lie. That is a lie. It just is. You know where that comes from? You want to hear something gross? If a baby's born and it only has a brain stem, which happens sometimes in this country because a lot of women don't get neonatal care because Republican. So you'll get babies that are born with nothing but a brainstem. There's no mind there. There's no brain. It will die on its own. There's no brain in its head, no cerebrum, nothing there. They'll terminate it. They will. They'll give it a shot and stop its heart. Nobody is killing babies that are born. Nobody. But the standard bearer of the Republican Party just said on national television in a debate that Democrats are killing babies. No, we're not. And you have people that are parroting it and believing it, and they will tell you that right now. They're sick people. And they are they have implemented a strategy. They have gone to work. They are gutting the government's ability to protect you so that they can abuse you. They can process postulated meat. There ain't a damn thing you can do about it. They can tell women, die. Go die. That's what they're telling them now here in Texas. Infant mortality has skyrocketed in this state because when a baby was going to die, when a fetus was going to die and not make it, they would abort it to protect the mother and her ability to reproduce. They would abort it. That was healthcare. That was natural healthcare. So we didn't get a lot of babies that were born, and I say babies at that point because they're born, naturally born babies that die. Like the doctors knew they would die. Hey, you know what? Your baby has a one chambered heart. It's not going to live. It's just not going to live. Its cardiovascular system has not developed because it never developed a heart. It's going to die. Let's do an abortion. Let you try again. We'll protect your reproductive system and we'll let you try again. No. Might be a miracle. Might be a miracle. God might make this baby live. No, he's not. These people are insane. And they're gutting our government's ability to function and protect you. I don't give a damn what happens. You have to fund Democrats. You have to work in campaigns this time around. We have no billionaire frat boy club that is paying. Who do you think hires these click farms? Who do you think hires them? You saw it was Russian intelligence. That embarrassing, we ran out of credits with ChatGPT. All of a sudden, you could see the tens of thousands of bots on X. You think Elon's going to do anything about that? No, hell, he's selling to people, advertisers that these are people. These are engagements. It's you people. You're it. We're it. We're the ones that have to do it. So unlike any other election, you've got to have the uncomfortable conversations. You have to force people to vote. You got to go get your grandkids that are turning 18 and you got to get them registered and you got to make them vote. You got to shut down this whole, there's a movement. We're not going to vote for Joe because Joe is allowing the genocide of the Palestinian people. No, he's not. He's taking weapons away from Israel. You have to shut that shit down. You got to do it. I'll do it with you. I will be here every Sunday, Wednesday, and Friday. I'm thinking about doing an evening show too. I'll be here. You got to do it, though. You got to take it and make it hit the road, man. You've got to be where the rubber meets the road. And I love you, folks. You are wonderful. That is what I have for you today. Thank you for supporting the show so much. Again, LP, I don't know if you want me to mention your name. Some people that have supported the show at the level that you have, which was a lot, brother. That was a big donation. That was huge. I appreciate you, my friend. If you don't mind me mentioning your name, let me know. Email me. Let me know. Oh. Enjoy some Texas cities at night.